What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And I wanted to come on this afternoon and talk about a player that I've seen popping up in discussions a little bit here and a little bit there. And I actually heard Rivera talk directly about him after rookie camp. But I'm coming on today to talk about Kazmeir Allen. And he's a running back wide receiver from UCLA. Just a little guy they signed as an undrafted free agent. Oh, and take a minute and look what high school he played for. But before I get to his film, I wanted to read a quote that Chip Kelly said about him after they recruited him to UCLA, because he was one of Chip Kelly's actually first recruits, okay? He said, I think the first game we saw, he had 450 yards and 8 touchdowns. He says, you always hear people say that you can't coach speed. You have someone who's dynamic like Kaz, it's a good weapon to have. Now keep in mind, when Kazmeir was in high school, he had 6,276 rushing yards, 1,603 receiving yards, and 121 total touchdowns. Not to mention, he was the California high school champion in the 100-meter dash with a 10.44 second 100-meter in 2018. Now I have no clue why he only put up 1,312 yards from scrimmage and 11 touchdowns in 36 games for the Bruins, but I digress. Now that said, let's just hop right into this film. Now while Allen wasn't called on to be a top flight player while he was at UCLA, he did show that he is capable of getting the job done. And one thing that I really liked to see was, he's really versatile. This guy is he's got that scat back mentality. He can run the ball, around the edges is where you probably would want him if you ever ran him in any kind of rushing attack in the NFL. He's kind of small, but he's got big play ability down the field. Watch that play from this angle right here. You'll see, he's got some top flight speed down the field. When he did his 40 this year at his pro day, his 40 was something like 4.56 or something like that, which is kind of disappointing. I think everybody was expecting him to be a lot faster, and I think that might have added in to why he slipped down the draft board or off the draft board completely and went undrafted. Although I will say, after the type of high school career he had, he definitely had a disappointing college career. And here's him showing that he can hit the hole and go. He turns, and there's no stopping that kid once he's in the open field. He turns the afterburners on, and he can go, y'all. Here's another play that looks almost exactly like the one I just showed you. Hand him the ball off, boom, he's gone. And there's no touching him once he hits that open field because he's got that good breakaway speed. He's also versatile. He can go across the middle. It's not necessarily, his forte. But one thing I noticed was that UCLA liked to use it for those little flats passes, like this one right here. He kind of outran his coverage there. Maybe if he'd have cut a little bit to the right, he would have had a little bit better of a run there. Maybe got behind his line. He had 3 guys to the right of him. He cut to the left and they were all there. But anyway, you watch this play right here, and it's everything that the play before was not. As you see, he kind of cuts back and reads his blocking better and then bounces in the end zone. The guy is slick, man. He's like a little piece of, greased piece of something, coming around the corner there and just kind of slips in between 2 guys. Small and slippery. This could be a home run hitter in Eric Bieniemy's system right here. He could be a guy that sneaks on the back end of the roster or maybe gets in on the practice squad and then becomes a weapon somewhere down the road. And here he is again, coming out the backfield, a little wing back here. Always love to see a guy hit the turn like that and be able to still get in the end zone, even though there's 2 defenders basically standing there waiting for him, and he's able to still make it happen. He reminds me a little bit of Chris Thompson. I think Chris Thompson was a little faster in short segments. This kid, I think, has got a little bit more afterburner than Thompson had. But yeah, he reminds me a little bit of Chris Thompson. Now, as I was saying a minute ago, he can go over the middle. It's not really his thing, but when he does, as you see, it turned out good. Watch it back from this side. It's not his number one good thing to do, but when he does it, yeah, man, As you see, he's able to turn the burners on. Nobody touching him. Here's another example of him turning the burners on and nobody touching him. If this ball's thrown just a tiny bit better, he's in the end zone without an issue there. As it was, he still goes in there untouched, but there was a man back there looking to defend that pass. You watch it back from this angle, the defender never really had a chance, even though he does make a play on it. Now here he is out lined up as a wide receiver, and he's able to run a nice little route right here, get good separation. If the ball was thrown a little bit better, that might have been further down the field right there as well, because he's able to make the catch, and he's still got a little bit of field left, but he has to slow down, and he might as well just go out of bounds there, so he does. Nice little end around action here. I'm telling you, this guy is a scat back weapon that Eric Bieniemy's got to be licking his chops at right now, thinking, what can he do with this kid? He's already done a few things as far as drawing up some game plans and some plays out in Kansas City for a couple different guys over the last couple years. He's got to be looking at this kid and thinking, oh yeah, I can do something with him. I always love to see these scat backs get in the open field, and it's so hard for the defenders to bring them down that it's like, man, a couple cuts and they really make the best of it. Now, one thing I didn't speak on was Allen's ability to run kicks back, which, let's just face it, that's something that our team has been desperately seeking for a while now, is a kick returner. They need a punt returner too, but a kick returner in desperate form. I mean, this team needs a shot in the arm on special teams from game to game, and this kid could really give a nice shot of adrenaline to everybody. I mean, think about it. You're sitting there and you're watching the game, and this guy runs one back for a touchdown, or this guy runs one back for a 30-40 yard, return or whatever, and sets the offense up. This is what our offense and our team has been missing for a while now, is a dynamic player on the kick return and the special teams. Now, I'm not saying that that's all he does, but to start with, this could be the spark and the position that helps him find his way onto the 53. He'll obviously have to sneak on the back end of that 53 with as deep as the running back room is right now, and with as deep as the wide receiver room is right now. But with the way that Eric Bieniemy is trying to set that offense up, I can't help but feel like he's got to be sitting back and thinking to himself, oh, I could use him. Can he figure the system out well enough to be able to be plugged in here and there for me to be able to use, and we could stash him back there and, do the special teams or whatever he needs to do for now. Or maybe he ends up on the practice squad. I don't know if they're going to be able to stash him on the practice squad or not, but they might end up trying. Let me say real quick, anybody that's not subscribed yet, make sure to hit that button now. And before you leave, make sure to hit that like button as well. And don't forget, tips are always welcome. Your content creator can't live on YouTube dollars alone. Y'all take it easy. Peace.